Honorable members and the delegation from Mombasa County Executive, we will continue with our meeting. I'd like to welcome the delegation from Mombasa to the Senate and to the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. We will proceed with our agenda. We started a bit earlier with an update from the Auditor General, from the ESCC and Control of Budget and the Parliamentary Budget Office. We now would want to have a conversation with the Mombasa delegation on the report of the Auditor General. We deferred prayer so that we could pray together. And I'm going to ask one of my members, Senator Dulo, to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servant whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our church. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Dulo. Honorable members, we had not adopted the agenda. Our agenda today is to consider the reports of the Auditor General and particularly the measures taken by the County Government of Mombasa to implement the recommendations of the Senate for the County Executive, Receiver of Revenue and County Revenue Fund. Could I get a proposer from among the members?
Chair propose.
Thank you, Senator Wambua. Seconder?
Chair, I second.
Thank you, Senator SIFUNA. We'll do a quick round of introduction, starting with members of the Senate present. I could start with Senator Dulo again.
Tumadulo, Senator Isiolo, member.
Good morning, Governor and your delegation. My name is Jones Maruma. I'm the Senator representing Taita Taveta, Vice Chair to this committee.
Mheshimiwa Governor na wote ambao umetoka Mombasa karibuni Nairobi, mimi ndio SIFUNA na ni mwanachama wa kamati hii. Asante sana.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Enoch Wambua, Senator Kitui, a member of this committee.
My name is Leleb Goltumbesi, Senator for Samburu, member of the committee.
And I'm Moses Otieno Kajwang, Senator from Homa Bay. I chair the committee.
Good morning, John Lekampule, Sergeant Rams.
And favor and blessings as your servant whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our church. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Dulo. Honorable members, we had not adopted the agenda. Our agenda today is to consider the reports of the Auditor General and particularly the measures taken by the County Government of Mombasa to implement the recommendations of the Senate for the County Executive, Receiver of Revenue and County Revenue Fund. Could I get a proposer from among the members?
Chair propose.
Thank you, Senator Wambua. Seconder?
Chair, I second.
Thank you, Senator SIFUNA. We'll do a quick round of introduction, starting with members of the Senate present. I could start with Senator Dulo again.
Tumadulo, Senator Isiolo, member.
Good morning, Governor and your delegation. My name is Jones Maruma. I'm the Senator representing Taita Taveta, Vice Chair to this committee.
Mheshimiwa Governor na wote ambao umetoka Mombasa karibuni Nairobi, mimi ndio SIFUNA na ni mwanachama wa kamati hii. Asante sana.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Enoch Wambua, Senator Kitui, a member of this committee.
My name is Lelev Gultumbesi, Senator for Samburu, member of the committee.
And I'm Moses Otieno Kajwang, Senator from Homa Bay. I chair the committee. We have a team of clerks that support us.
Good morning, Chair members. My name is Chris Pastima, Committee Clerk. Kibet Kevin, Committee Clerk.
Chair Notoro Legal Counsel.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Kanze Charo, Research Officer.
Good morning. My name is Shalim Simbi, Hansard Officer.
Matthias Muso, Intern.
Good morning, John Lekampule, Sergeant at Arms.
There's an intern behind there.
Imran Mohammed, Legal Services Intern.
That's from us, Chairman.
You are welcome. We go to the Office of the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Ricky Patrick, the liaison officer. Chair, we have a team from our Mombasa regional office who are also in charge of the audit of Kwale and Taita Taveta, but they're today here for Mombasa. With the permission, they can come on record.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Leonard Opar, the Director of Audit, Mombasa Regional Office.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Samuel Obonyo, Mombasa Regional Office.
That's all, Chairman.
You are welcome, OAG, ESCC.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Christine Mweo from ESCC. Thank you.
Karibu, we usually have the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya and the Control of Budget. They will be joining us in due course. So we will go to the visiting delegation. Did we invite the County Assembly of Mombasa?
Yes, Chairman. We invited them, but they have not come.
Okay, in that case, we will proceed to the County Executive. Even though I've been in this country for some time, and there's someone here who looks like the Speaker of the County Assembly. So, are you here as part of Senator Faki's delegation, or you are here for the purpose of the Public Accounts Committee? Okay. Senator Faki,
yes.
Separation of separation of powers. But anyway, that's. I mean, if the Speaker was here formally, then we would acknowledge him formally. But he has a right to be here. He's a member of the public, so he has a right to be here, even if he does not go on record formally. So, Senator Faki, we were doing the introductions. Just go on record.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Nairobi, Governor and your team. I found the Speaker within the premises. That's why I brought him here.
No, you don't need to disown him.
Senator Mombasa County and friend of the committee. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Chair, I was wondering if the Speaker is part of Senator Faki's delegation. He could properly be seated behind Senator Faki.
No. Well, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Senate and the county assemblies to have a relationship, and there's nothing wrong about that. Governor, please go on record.
Thank you very much, Chair. Abdul Samad Sharif Nassir, Governor of Mombasa. Maybe I allow the team to be able to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Evan Swanda. I'm the CC for Finance and Economic Planning.
Morning, Chair. I'm Swali Malizuma, the Chief Officer for Finance, County Government of Mombasa.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatma Nabhan, Advisor to the Governor on ICT. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Otieno, the Principal Accountant.
Good morning. My name is Bishara Mohammed, Accountant.
Good morning. My name is Dalton Mwagogo, Chairman of Audit Committee.
Good
Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Makoha Murunga, Assistant Director of Finance.
Good morning. My name is Idris Mbaruk, accountant.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zahra Sharif Ahmed, accountant.
Good morning. My name is Ali Omar, accountant.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Mochiru, Head of Internal Audit, Mombasa County Executive.
Good morning, I'm Nurawad,
I know they're introducing
accountant.
themselves, but you're not able to see them. Maybe it's good you just stand.
Good morning, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatma Yusuf, accountant.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar Abdallah, Supply Chain Management.
Good morning, Ayub Ridwan, Director. Finance Officer, sorry.
Good morning, Assalamu alaikum. Joan Jeroge, Administrator from the Governor's Office.
Good morning, Abdurrahman Abdallah, Personal Assistant to the Governor.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Harub Khatri, Speaker, Mombasa County Assembly.
Is that it for the visiting delegation? If that is the case, then we shall proceed very quickly to the next agenda item, which will be administration of oath and tabling of documents.
I, Abdul Samad Sharif Nassir, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Anything I'm meant to sign?
No, just read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chair, I hereby table the following documents before the committee: management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General for the County Executive of Mombasa for the year 24-25, management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive for the same year of 24-25, and management responses and annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive of Mombasa for the financial year 24-25.
Auditor General, could you confirm that the responses that have been tabled, you've been able to review?
Thank you, Chair. Can confirm that the responses were delivered to our offices on 28th May, and they were in the form and the manner that is prescribed, and we have been able to review the same, so we propose that the meeting can proceed.
Okay, Clerk of the Senate, is the entity in compliance?
Yes, Chairman, you can confirm that the entity submitted the documents within the timelines.
Okay, if that is the case, we will proceed, but we'll have to deal with one preliminary matter. When we sent the invitation to the Governor of Mombasa, we also indicated the resolution of the Senate. Because you did not find an opportunity to appear before this committee before the constitutional deadline of 31st of March, the Senate adopted the report of the Auditor General in its entirety. The Senate resolved that you would appear before this committee within a period of 30 days to furnish us with an update on the measures you are taking to implement the observations or recommendations of the Auditor General. The committee or the House further resolved to impose a fine of 500,000 Kenya shillings for failure to honor summons where you are supposed to appear before this committee on 30th of March, ahead of the constitutional deadline. I want to find out from the clerk of the Senate whether we, in our records, we have evidence that the fine has been paid.
Chairman, thank you, Chairman. We have received, today this morning, we have received a copy of the banker's check from the county executive, that's from the governor, dated 4th June, of a banker's check addressed to the Senate, in favor of the Senate. So we can confirm that the payment has been made.
So there's a banker's check that has been addressed to the clerk?
Yes, there's a banker's check addressed to the clerk of the Senate.
I think in our letter communicating the fine, we had given a 2-week limit for settlement of the fine. But now that the clerk confirms that there's evidence that the fine has been paid, I think, members, we do not need to belabor the point. We can take it that the governor has paid the fine, and we can now proceed with our substantive meeting. Now, we have 3 reports to deal with. We have the report of the county executive, the report of the county revenue fund, and the report of the receiver of revenue. In our earlier brief with the Auditor General, we realized that there was a little problem in terms of the report that was tabled for the county executive. You might have noted, maybe your technical people may have noted, that the report of the county executive, page 1 and page 2 of the auditor's certificate, referred to the receiver of revenue rather than to the county executive. And so, having reviewed that, we have found that it might not be very possible or very tenable for us to consider the report on the executive on account of that. I think it's a document management problem. When the Auditor General tabled the certificate, there was a mix-up on page 1 and page 2. Now, as you understand parliamentary practice, we cannot now use another document which was not tabled. They have the correct one, but since it was not tabled formally, we might not be able to rely on it because the affected parts are the qualifying issues to the financial statements. Because if we go by it, it will appear as if there was only one qualifying issue, and yet in the real report, there were about 6 or 7. As a result, having gone through that, we have agreed with the Auditor General that it is possible to deal with the receiver of revenue as we correct that problem on the county executive. So today, we will deal with the report of the receiver of revenue, which is not small because it's you had a 6.9 billion budget on that. And if we spend 1 or 2 hours or 1 hour or less on the receiver of revenue, then we'll schedule a separate date to deal with the county executive once we retable the right report to the Senate. So as agreed, honorable members, we will start with the report of the receiver of revenue. Governor, I can see you are itching to say something.
No, I'm not itching, but in the spirit of fair administrative justice as well, if I was fined 500,000 shillings because I was not present, is someone taking responsibility for the fact that they did not table the documents the way they were meant to be tabled? Because even that 500,000, I had to, Faki helped me with some money, and the speaker, I'll bet he helped me a bit late, and some of my staff members were changa hapa. That's why today morning is when we were able to pay that 500,000.
Yeah, that was.
Chair, Chair, just before.
Senator,
I think, Governor, that is a very dangerous path because the Senate requires that money comes from your pocket.
Yes.
You are admitting that we should refund the people who have contributed that money to you so that we get money from you. Secondly, the good thing with you is that...
If they give it to me, it's mine.
Just a minute.
Let's allow Senator SIFUNA to...
Only the good thing is the governor has been a member of parliament. He has chaired committees similar to these ones. The consequences of failure to appear to the committee are in the standing orders. So I would want you, in your vast experience as a parliamentarian, that request that you've made, which standing order are you anchoring it on, or which law?
Chair, Senator SIFUNA is asking me to wear a role that I once wore. Over the years, from the time that I was a member of parliament, an enabled member of parliament, and a seasoned member of parliament, and a seasoned chair, standing orders changed. But if given the opportunity, I don't mind actually going back and rereading those standing orders. But I am aware. And one of the things that has changed in Parliament as well is the Public Investment Committee was split into three. Standing orders were actually changed during our time. CSs were not appearing. When you do an amendment, a certain section that was once section 1A could end up being section 1C. And since we're on camera here, allow me not to be able to indulge on something that, but I don't mind. I can actually go back. But moving forward,
no, I think, Governor, the House is sitting at 2:30, and one of the important things we are dealing with is mediation on, or dealing with the division of revenue and allocation of revenue and the money that comes to counties. And the Senate has insisted that counties must get 454 billion, a position that we hold firmly. So just to settle this matter so that we get into the report, the 500,000 shilling fine was imposed because you were found to be in contempt of Parliament. It is not because you didn't provide some document here and there, but we invited you specifically on 30th of March this year. You failed to appear without any justifiable reason. Some of your colleagues came. Governor Orengo was here, Governor Turukana was here, and a few others. We did not find them. So that fine is on account of contempt. I think the other matter is administrative, and we do understand that sometimes the problem can be on the part of the governor, sometimes the problem can be on the part of the auditor, sometimes it can be on the part of the Senate. So let's proceed. Let's not reopen the issue of the fine because it has now been settled.
I'm totally in agreement, Chair, and I want to appreciate the support of the Senate on devolution itself. The fact that the proposed equitable share, the revenue share for counties should be at 454. I want to also go on record, Chair, because this is something that is going to be picked up after next financial year as well. One of the major issues that is going to be a topic, and we hope that that is not what is going to happen, is the issue of UHC staff. Failure for UHC staff to be absorbed and their money to be as part of equitable share, there is going to be a challenge, Chair, because then those staff will have to be hired based on the fact that if it is conditional grants, they'll only be able to be hired based on that period, because not all counties can be able to afford a total cumulative figure for all counties would be 8.9 billion shillings. Not a subject for today, but I just wanted to state it on record that I appreciate the support that the Senate has been able to put forward on matters of devolution.
Senator SIFUNA?
Chair, the last we had of this matter as the Senate was that the Council of Governors had reached an agreement with the Treasury. I think there was even indication by the national government that funds had been set aside in the current budget. Are you saying that was not the case, Governor?
No. What I'm saying is there's funds can be able to be set aside in two ways. They can be either in equitable share or they can be as conditional grants.
Yes.
If they're not going to be as equitable share, what is going to happen? Because anything can happen. A conditional grant does not mean that that is going to be the status. Now, if an employee is going to be employed on permanent and pensionable, and the revenue that you're receiving is only pegged on that one financial year, the danger that is there is next financial year, if in the wisdom of Treasury or in the wisdom of Parliament that conditional grant should not be there, then there's going to be a danger. Those people are going to, their budget is not going to be available. So it is important for that figure. I speak one, as the Governor of Mombasa, two, as the Chair of the Health Committee of the Council of Governors, because this is something that is going to pop up. And our hope is that once the mediation has already been agreed on, and I think that one of the reasons why Senate has also proposed the figures to be at 454 is to be able to take into consideration that we have UHC staff, that money should not fall under conditional grants. As much as it has been allocated, the art and the act of how it was allocated, whether it is a conditional grant or it was part of equitable share, will have a huge bearing on the lives of those UHC doctors.
Now, Governor, there is a flip side, and help us understand, because we want to help the UHC staff. There have been many protests outside of our parliament here by those UHC staff. One of the problems we have with county governments is that when resources are not ring-fenced for a specific purpose, you find that you now will prioritize other things. If you ask the UHC workers themselves, they would want that money be clear that it is for UHC staff, so that we don't hear that you have decided, because when it comes as equitable share, you will decide that you want to do the stadium in Mombasa. So we have struggled as a Senate, for instance, on the question of pending bills, Senator. And in fact, there has been a conversation in the Senate that because this problem has persisted so long, Governor, and you guys are not at you guys, you as a council are not offering us a way out in terms of how we deal with this scourge of pending bills. We as a Senate have gotten to a place where we feel we should pay those contractors ourselves, those pending bills ourselves, because we release money, we pass motions, we even passed a motion setting timetables for clearance of pending bills, but it continues to persist. So how would you persuade skeptics such as myself who believe that governors and county governments, we feel we must tie your hands even further? That if money is for payment of CHPs, it has to go to CHPs, you cannot divert it to your milk program. If it is for payment of pending bills, let it be for pending bills. So how would you persuade us as the chair?
Maybe, Governor, before you respond, Senator Faki.
My answers. Recently, we had a motion to deduct funds from the county government of Meru for purposes of paying one of the legal charges for a pending bill. And members felt that it was only being done because he's a foreigner. But they also said that it is now time that we also do the same to our local contractors. I know pending bills of Mombasa are about 5 billion at the moment. Yeah, so we are thinking that that is the way to go, that the Treasury deducts some money and then pays directly the pending bills, instead of the current situation where the county government is given a free hand to choose which ones to pay, which ones not to pay. And I will agree with Senator SIFUNA that when we were dealing with this DORA bill, the issue of the 8.5 billion for the CHP workers featured. And we are of the opinion that this money should be ring-fenced so that we are able to monitor that it goes directly to the CHPs, rather than just lumping it together with the equitable share, and then the county government chooses which ones to pay, which ones not to pay. Thank you.
And Governor, I wish the documents were all in order so that we could have been able to look at even your pending bills in this report, because this report indicated that 77% of your debt was older than 3 years. 77%. That was 2.9 billion out of a total of 3.8 billion. And it also indicated that out of the 3.8 billion, 1.2 billion was owed to staff. I think that's statutory deductions or pensions and all that. It's a very untidy picture. And that's why maybe Senator SIFUNA is saying if we were to increase, because at 454 billion, our draft CARA is going to give Mombasa 9.2 billion. I think this year you got 7.9 billion. Was it 7.9 billion? Sorry? 8.3 was 25-26 or 25, the current financial year. Yes. The year that we are reviewing, you got 7.9, then you got 8.3, and we are proposing that you get 9.2 billion. So, Senator SIFUNA, perhaps to paraphrase, how do you ensure that that 9.2 billion or that extra 1.3 billion goes to settle the equivalent amount owed to staff, which is 1.3 billion?
First and foremost, and I say this with a lot of, I want to state this, it is not about Mombasa being extra smart or anything else, but we have a good team, the team that I am able to work with. One, from the time of assuming office, we have never defaulted in paying any staff. And even when we pay simultaneously with all deductions, from money that is due to the pensions, to money that is due to all the others, to the unions. Everything is paid simultaneously, to all the statutory deductions and all. Do we have issues that are historic? Because even when you say that there's money that is due, that is employees' money, some of this money was historic from the time of municipal times. What is it that we are doing about it? As much as we are currently paying all our employees on time, and we are doing the statutory deductions on time, this can be attested not necessarily by myself, but it can be attested from the county pension fund, from the lab trust, from KRA, from the housing levy, and everyone else that we are meant to be paying. But we've also been in conversation with the county pension fund. We've been in conversation with the lab trust. We made a payment to the lab trust. As a matter of fact, we have reduced. There were people whose gratuity had not been paid from the time I was in high school. Some of them have even passed on. And we have reduced all that level of gratuity. If I'm not right now we are at which year? We have reduced from all the way from the 80s, we are currently at 2023. So as we are paying everyone, we are also reducing on an aging analysis. Though that is now on issues to do with staff. On issues to do with the CHPs, again, Mombasa first of all started paying CHPs. It was a decision we took to pay CHPs before even there was the national government arrangement to be able to work on this. Are there counties that have not followed suit? By all means, yes. There are counties, but are there many? No. There are a small minority of counties that have not been able to follow suit on this. The issues of putting money like UHC and the CHPs, we're the ones who are dealing with the CHPs on a day-to-day basis. What happens is they get their stipend from the county government, then they have to wait for national government, whether national government will be able to pay them on time or not on time. If there's an error of a telephone number, if someone has shifted, if someone has passed away, by the time that information is done, there's already a loophole where there are some payments that are already would have already been done. And sometimes people are paid in arrears. There was a time they were paid a couple of months in arrears because they had not been paid prior. So the argument is, why don't we have one pocket to be able to pay? Even for the CHPs, it's not a problem. It can actually come in as a conditional grant. Because if it comes in as a conditional grant, the money for the CHPs, it is put into a joint account where then it is now dispersed, where you cannot be able to spend that money until you put in a matching amount. That is something that has been done previously. But for the UHC staff, let me state it here, Chair. If you put that money for the UHC staff as a conditional grant, what that means basically is next year, it is conditions precedence on whether government will be of the opinion, of the view that yes, we need to be able to continue giving. And the agreement that is there is that these UHC staff are meant to be hired on a permanent and pensionable basis. So if you provide funding to pay their salaries for 1 year, and then counties have gone and absorbed them on permanent and pensionable, and then the year after, someone says that no, we should not be paying this conditional grant anymore, there are counties that are going to, on the flip side of things, there are counties that are going to be in quite a problem. Collectively, these figures just for the UHC staff is 8.9 billion. Unless, of course, the conditional grants come in, and then in the wisdom of Parliament and in the wisdom of Treasury, by the way, this is not even an argument by ourselves. This is an argument that the Ministry of Health actually wrote to the Commission for Revenue Allocation, indicating that when they are doing their proposal on what should be the revenue and the equitable share, they did do this. There's a letter that was done by the Ministry of Health indicating that they need to include that 8.9 billion first.
Now, Governor, you have a lot of background on this as a chair of the Health Committee. I think let's come back to the numbers, but we hear you. Your contribution will guide us when we are making our debate on the matter. We thought that ring fencing it would be to give hope to the UHC workers. We've thought that ring fencing, we must find a way of ring fencing an allocation for settlement of pending bills, but we are also aware that budgeting is the domain of the county assembly. And perhaps what Senate can do is to make certain recommendations to the county assemblies that now that we have increased the allocation to Mombasa County, perhaps you need to prioritize this 3 billion that has been outstanding for over 3 years. I think we cannot direct the assembly. We can only advise the assembly on that.
Chair, I love the concept of actually ring fencing for purposes of paying pending bills. In fact, this is a proposal that I sent a very, very long time. I did this proposal the first year I was in office to Treasury. But I think the whole concept itself was very, very new. When you ring fence and you say that this is an amount of money that we need to be able to pay for purposes of paying pending bills, the argument was if I invoke the fact that I have a good working relation with financial institutions and that I'm not someone who goes and takes money from this pocket to pay this other pocket, and financial institutions are ready, and they say that, you know, if you're pending bills, you have been able to commit 1 billion shillings, and I know that you can be able to pay this 1 billion shillings, allow me to advance this 1 billion shillings to those people who are. A number of you here are lawyers, and you will also agree with me that one of the biggest challenges that is there on matters of pending bills is the fact that when you don't settle a bill today, tomorrow it does not become a bill anymore. It becomes double or triple that bill. This is a county government that I've seen situations where someone has even dared to try and give us a pending bill of what it is that is being allocated to this whole county government. And there's nothing that even surprises me anymore. Having been where you are seated, I have seen situations where a pending bill, someone in the courts decided and made a decision that it is okay to actually attach, even national food reserves. And the last time that I checked is that the law does not exist in a vacuum. Whatever it is that we do, I agree with you. If you actually put that proposal, it would, for argument's sake, I'm one of those proponents. And I've said this, and I know that it is not something that might augur well with others, but I'm one of those proponents who actually feels that statutory deductions can be deducted at source. It's just that the law currently, the PFM does not allow it. But the reason I say this is because I'm currently financing taxes.
I think let's leave it there. You have said something that we have thought through, we have wanted to propose, and I'm happy it is coming from a governor.
I want to state it. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Council of Governors, Chair.
At the risk of time, I want us to come back to the numbers.
Chair, as we go back to the numbers, allow me to make this comment, especially about CHPs and UHC staff. You know, Chair, this matter came up yesterday when we were dealing with Kericho. And it came up again on the floor, and I had Senator Dulo propose something to the effect that maybe this health thing, we may have to think whether it is where it is supposed to be. You know, Governor, for you and for the other governors, and maybe even for the Senate, it's an audit query that we just have to clear and move on to other things. But for those frontline staff in the health sector, who are very, very critical, it's a matter of life and death. I think a wider conversation needs to happen about the payment for CHPs and UHC staff. And we decide as a country once and for all who takes the ultimate final responsibility over these people. And how are they going to be remunerated for the critical services that they offer?
Honourable members, those are policy conversations. Let's come to the numbers. Governor, you have said you run a very good team, which we are not in any doubt. But I was asking myself, why, who's Robert Murunga in the organization?
He's the Assistant Director of Finance.
And he was a signatory to the financial statements?
Yes.
If he's an assistant director, that means that there is a director.
Do we have a director in that? No, we don't have a substantive. You will, and I know the next question will be why. Allow me to be able to just give it up this is a county chair that we have a lot of people. There's attrition, then there's many other factors that are involved. Two, you will also agree that there's an independence of the County Public Service Board. There's been a lot of adverts that have been going out, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the adverts that have already gone out. It is the purview of the County Public Service Board to be able to fill that position.
I was happy to hear someone introduce themselves as the chair of the audit committee. I hope the internal auditor is also part of this delegation. Internal, are you substantive? Substantive or assistant? Okay, that's fine. Members, let's go to the report on the receipt of revenue. The report on the receipt of revenue indicates that Mombasa had planned to collect 6.9 billion Kenya shillings, and Mombasa only collected 4.8 billion. There was a drop. You only realized 13% of your target. And you know, earlier on, we were talking about the agricultural producers, the Kongowea markets, which we shall not go back to. But what was the reason given by the receiver of revenue for the significant shortfall?
Market fee collection fell significantly short of the target. This may be attributed to a combination of underperformance, enforcement, temporary closure of markets due to structural upgrades, or health and safety issues, and possible revision of market policies affecting collection efficiency.
On this one, Governor, is it possible, because you have your markets, you know them, these ones all need to be mapped, and you know that market A, this is what we collected last year, this is what we collected this year, and this is the reason for that shortfall. I mean, as a business owner, you'd ask for that information, isn't it? And markets is emotive because it's small money from our people at the base of the pyramid. And I know those are the people who form the bedrock of your support. I know they're the members of your political party. I know that they're the members or they're the people who support you. If they have an inkling that whatever they are paying is not being accounted
does it
for...
mean members of ODM are only at the bottom? They are also up?
Yeah, we are a mass, it's a mass movement.
So it's from bottom up?
Yes.
Okay.
So you see the sensitivity here, Governor, is that we wouldn't say that your explanation is sufficient. You would tell us in Kongowea we shut down, and therefore there was a drop. In Market B, there was some policy, and therefore there was a drop. Because you collected 59 million, but prior year you had collected 62 million. Is this also system related?
A difference of 3 million shillings. No, it is not system related at all. Chair, I will give you, first of all, with your indulgence, a market has a very motive. To go and send people or auctioneers and say that you are removing people because they have not been able to pay for their market stalls is not something that anyone would, in the right senses, really want to be able to do. Did we have a challenge in being able to receive that extra 3 million from 5962 and we ended up collecting only 59? Yes.
Remember, it's 13% of your own target. That 59, it's 13%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the target is always based on many factors, including the fact that what is the space that we have out there, what is the capacity that we can be able to do. There are two issues, Chair, that we want to be able to try and do. Again, this is futuristic. It will not be able to cure the fact that we were able to collect less last year. One of the things we tried to do when we got into office, and which has prompted us to do the second option that is there, we tried to find out who are the true owners. Who are the true owners of those stalls? Some of those stalls were given to individuals from the time of municipal. Figures and pieces of papers that have since gone missing. It is for you to actually be able to know who is the true owner of a stall here is as good as it's really as good as impossible.
Chair, with your indulgence, I have a problem. Just with the indulgence.
Senator, what's the point of order?
Governor, it is the issue of governance and leadership, because you have been in office for the last 4 years. This is your third financial year. I thought if we were in year one when you took over, and I know you took over from a friendly county government, I thought these are basics that you should have done, because what you should be telling us, and I agree with you, is maybe you don't have enough revenue officers who can go out. The issue of management and structure, because you have receiver of revenue here, you have town managers, you have people who are in charge of those stalls. We are not saying you should be there personally, because that is not how the government works. It works by power delegation. So if you are telling us that if somebody was given a space in Kongoya market in 1960 to their grandfather, by the time you go and look for them, by the time that will be 2030. So, Chair, I think, Governor, just be truthful as you have said. What is the real problem? Is it poor governance by your town managers or the administrators you have who runs these market stalls, or is it lack of revenue officers? Do you have a challenge with enforcement? And every Kenyan, I want to defend Kenyans, every Kenyan know that they have obligation to pay. Even if this shortfall of 3 million, even if they are supporters, they know by the fact that I have stole XY, I must pay for the service of using this. Because they know if they don't through the HIV, they don't pay for that service, they will not get a service where you give them sanitary, water, electricity, and other factors. So what is the real challenge, Chair? Because from me, Chair, where I sit, and I wish the Senator of Mombasa would be listening to this, is the issue of governance and leadership. It is not even about collecting, because if you hear what... So does it mean the previous county government did absolutely nothing by ensuring that you have updated collection form of register in markets?
Okay, before you respond,
no, you might not want to touch your brother. It might give you some political problems in Mombasa. But can you be truthful?
Order, Senator Chirarke.
With your indulgence,
just a minute, Governor. I'll allow Governor to respond. Because of time, the Senator Faki has another critical engagement, but he wanted to make a comment.
Yes.
But even us, we must wind down this meeting in the next 10 minutes maximum.
Chair, first of all, I want to say that Senator Cherargei is out of order for implying that the governor is not truthful. He has sworn to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Agreed.
On the issue of markets, I'm aware that some markets have been closed. There's a market at Shikadabu on the road, which was closed because of poor, what we call poor uptake of the stalls. Yeah. There's another market which has been constructed in Chani, which has not been operationalized. It has been there. It was built by the late Ramadan Seif Kajembe when he was the area member of parliament, then subsequent takeover by the county government, but it has not been completed. It's just a matter of putting in people, painting and putting in people for people to work and maybe earn a living from that market. What I want to say is that maybe there are some weak supervision by the enforcement officers, and some of these things have to be acknowledged, because you know, as a governor, you cannot be everywhere. Maybe some of your people are letting you down in terms of market, but on the whole, Mombasa has seen maybe a good business and climate environment for the business community. So it cannot be explained why maybe the revenues are falling.
Actually, before you leave, because this perhaps would have been from me the last one, then I also from the other members. Governor says the economy is not doing badly. Businesses are not shutting down, so that cannot be something that goes on record. You have also stated it as such. But then when you look at another indicator of growth in the economy, physical planning and development, that also reduced by 50 million. And we have not said that someone stole here, someone stole there. But those drops, which are explained broadly, give the suspicion that there could be a problem somewhere in terms of enforcement, in terms of collection, and not reporting. So
maybe the senator goes, what the Senate has explained is what should have appeared in these explanations. That market A, B, and C were closed, and that could have necessitated or facilitated the reduction in revenue. You know, we are not specific in the way we answer these questions. And I think you need to sit down, your people who are writing these reports. Maybe they thought we don't read, but when we say there might have been change in policies that facilitated under collection, we want to know those policies, which those policies are, and how they affected the collection. Otherwise, these generic explanations really would not wash.
And this is important because this is the money you get from the residents of Mombasa. We sometimes focus on the money that comes from Nairobi, but the money that comes from the people of Mombasa is even more, I think it's even more painful. It's, when we say sweeter, it means it's sweet when you eat it. No, it's
people are becoming more
it's more painful. It's more painful to collect it because it's an additional tax over and above what they've already paid at the national level. Now, I think we have demonstrated the problems here on your revenue reports, and you have also undertaken that you're going to have a conversation with your people. I think that conversation is urgent, and that conversation is important. We will make very specific recommendations. Right now, we are just doing a diagnosis. We are yet to give a prescription. So we will give very specific prescription on administrative action. And where we feel that the reasons adduced do not make sense, we might ask our friends from the ones with capacity, either the Auditor General or EACC, to go into those systems and confirm that the numbers being reported are truly the numbers that have been collected from the people of Mombasa.
Chair, with your
Senator
indulgence, Governor, I think you have heard our concern. that senators might be busy people what we read, and we are keen to detail. The normal look, most of these responses are generic, and I think your staff have let you down. Unless, maybe Governor, just for clarity, do you run a one-man show in the county government of Mombasa? Just note it somewhere so that I finish.
If I did, I can assure you that we will not be having any misreporting.
Then you should run one-man show so that we get the correct answers. Anyway, that is something you need to, and you are a leader, you need anybody who doesn't perform, show them the door. Mercy is only will be shown in heaven, not in numbers. So my only concern, Chair, is can we have the governor on this receiver of revenue, because I'm dissatisfied and I'll be moving the committee with your indulgence. The governor should be given opportunity to go and relook, give us specific. For example, your senator has just said Shikadabu market because of challenges. We know Wananchi would want near the road, they want a strategic place, it was closed down. That is a valid reason, even OAG will take it. The issue of maybe Chani, maybe it's not fully operational. Those are challenges that we need to be specific to alleviate our concern of this drop from projected 6.9 billion to 4.8 billion. If those details of market fees, and I'm surprised in physical planning and development, because the last time I was in Mombasa, Chair, there's a lot of development in Mombasa. And some of us even have interest. There is so many developments in Mombasa. So when I see there is a fall in physical planning and development,
You must declare your interest.
it's not pecuniary. It is development of Mombasa County.
Yeah, I think it's a fair observation.
It's a fair observation.
You go to Nyali, you can
yeah,
see
you can see.
an upsurge
I know,
of,
Chair, maybe
activity.
Nyali is your favorite sport. Maybe.
No, I
don't know why did you mention Nyali. So, Chair, I don't know what happens in Nyali. I only know Mombasa town. So, Chair, my only concern is when there is a drop in physical planning and development. If today I come to Mombasa and tell people we are not collecting money, they will be shocked because they are seeing buildings everywhere. There is affordable housing and many other things that these fees, unless you are waiving some of the national government projects, you can give us a reason. For example, under affordable housing program, maybe with your partnership with the national government, there are some fees that you waive or something. So, Chair, I think the explanation of shortfall of over 2 billion, missing the target, has not been addressed. And with your indulgence, I would move the committee that as we retreat to write our report, can we give time, Governor, to go and give us specific answers, and then we can come back and allow him to give us now the absolute truth. Thank you, Chair.
Can we shape our, like this as like the last question to the governor?
Yes.
Because of
time.
time.
You had ruled that we would finish at quarter past, and we're already there. But before you end, maybe let the governor tell us how they manage the hospital fees and the public health services fees, because in terms of comparison, there was a reduction in public health services fees from 1.1 billion, 49 million, but there's no comparison 2023-2024 for hospital fees, and yet we had 1.4 billion. Maybe we need to just get what happened and how you're managing that revenue.
Okay, again, Governor, there are very huge variances, but I think...
Chair, with a lot of indulgence, I'm not doubting your capacity on how you're chairing, but I think it is only fair. The number of interruptions does not give me an opportunity as well.
No, that's why I've directed that those be probably the last round of questions.
I'm more than willing
so that you are able to respond.
If the senators want, because the beauty of a question is to get an answer. You might not be able to agree with me, but then that is the whole essence. But if we are going to interject each other, and Cheryl, you're right, I also chaired the Public Investments Committee, and I also had to one too many times put members in order that it is only right for someone.
I think, Governor, that's sufficient.
This is what I was saying.
Your information, Senator
allow me to chair
has been
the
chairing
meeting.
this committee for 15 years.
And that's why I said he's doing a very good job.
I'm not
He's doing a very good job. Our worry is
I must protect you, Chair. I have an obligation.
But you make me sound like Yoweri Museveni. 15 years.
Chair,
you have been very good, and you are a member of ODM. You are deputy party leader.
I'm actually extremely proud of. I'm extremely proud of my senator. I hope as well that members from the other party, their leaders can also say they're proud of them. But for me, I can state that I am proud.
Nomination certificate for him is ready.
Order, Senator Jorarge. Governor,
Chair, allow me just to be able to take let me explain some of the issues, and because this goes hand in hand, the issues of physical planning. If you look at the amount of approvals that were actually done, if you now go back into the nitty-gritties, how many approvals were actually done over the number of years, you will see that the approvals have actually gone high. Our plan probably was that, instead of buildings being built 30, our hope was that there will be 30, I'm giving an example, 30 buildings to be built in a certain area. There's a possibility that instead of 30, developers opted to do 26. It does not mean that last year they did 30 and they dropped to 26. What it means is that what we were anticipating was not as high as we thought, but it does not mean that there's a decrease. Actually, if you look at it in terms of the number of developments have actually increased. Two, Mombasa can only be able to grow up to a certain level as well. Right now, we have another crisis where people are talking about all these high rises and all that we're doing. That is a conversation that we are working on an internal basis. The issue that I did not get clearly from yourself, Chair, you asked about the hospital fees. I understood Senator Marume asked that how do we handle the hospital fees? Even before the Facility Improvement Fund to be made into law, it was always policy by the county government of Mombasa for money for health facilities to be retained at health facilities. We have never diverted money from health facilities to be used for anything else other than health and health related. So every single facility is currently, maybe the question that you wanted to ask me was, is it the revenue? One thing I can assure you though, we most likely will be seeing an increase on these figures as well. And the reason why we'll be seeing an increase on these figures, for those who have been out and, of course, the people who castigate about SHA and everything else.
Chair, maybe because we'll be looking at these reports even in future, let it be specific, because public health services, 2023-2024, you collected 1.1 billion. And then you collected in 2024-25, 49 million. But 49 million for public health services.
Where are you reading
the document you're looking at? The document that you have.
I'm going through the one that was done by the Senate.
That is the one. Now, if you look at hospital fees, that is 1.4 billion. Does it mean you implemented FIF in the year 24-25?
We had FIF. FIF was implemented that day it became law.
The governor.
Actually, the first county, yes.
Governor, I can help you. And I don't know why you are technical people are not helping you. It was misclassification in prior year. That in prior year, what should have been hospital fees was classified as public health service fees, which is completely different. So it's a misclassified expenditure. I'm just looking at time. And that's why you carry these technicians around. They should be able to advise the governor instead of subjecting the governor to lengthy explanations.
Actually, Chair, I just want to state it here.
Point of procedure.
No, let the governor speak.
Chair, I want to state it here as well, that amongst the figures that we should be seeing an increase on as well will be the one for health. And when we talk about health, it is both public health and clinical services. This is the reporting on revenue is done collectively from your level 2 dispensary all the way to our level 5. The reporting is done in a similar manner, despite the fact that they might be audited differently, but the reporting is reported under one receiver of revenue. And I wanted to state this here. This is the reason why we need to be in support of SHA.
No, before you go to SHA, you have CPG, which has always been a problem in your books because you are managing it within the department.
It was.
Has it now been devolved as a standalone unit?
Yes. In fact,
and it's got its own revenue and
yes,
and expenditure
the current FIF that was signed into law does not just talk about cost general alone. It also involves the level 4s. So the last time we were at the Public Accounts Committee, we were able to face the Public Accounts Committee on the same. But I think because the FIF was still very, very new, what we are planning to do right now is we've already advertised and we're enforcing these hospitals with better accountants.
Yeah,
as much as we need to get them better doctors, but we also need to get them better accountants, because when all of a sudden you see an upsurge in revenue, there could be temptation of doing other things that are not meant to be.
But let the accountants not be more than doctors.
No. By all means. In fact, Chair, probably the county government of Mombasa has one of the largest database of consultants in the country today. If I tell you the investments that we have done in health as a county government of Mombasa, we're currently building a hospital that I've proudly named Raila Odinga Hospital. It's going to be a state-of-the-art hospital, one of the largest within the coastal region. It's going to be in Kongowea. We're building another one.
It looks very nice on the billboard. I think I've seen a billboard of it. I hope for ground itakuwa hivyo.
The works have already started.
I think the governor knows your weakness. When he mentions Raila Odinga, all the questions disappear. You become smiling.
At that point, because you have only 5 minutes to the House sitting.
The name of Raila Amolo Odinga is a weakness to many people, including Cherelgei.
Oh yeah.
So it is a leader that we hold extremely dear to our hearts. We would not be where we are as a country and as individuals if it was not for the input and the hand of Raila Amolo Odinga on us. We would not be here.
Governor, let me put a pause there. I think today's session was extremely important to highlight some of the areas where we need to have more rigor in terms of reporting. Ideally, the Auditor General should have asked some of these questions that we are asking, but nothing stops the Senate from asking these questions. And I do hope that everyone who is in the governor's delegation now knows that if you have a responsibility to provide financial statements, do the right thing. Financial statements cannot be rendered on the basis of possibilities or likelihoods. The numbers are specific. If there are shortfalls, they must be explained under the government of Mombasa. There were several paragraphs on systems, which I think by and large, Governor, you have alluded to some of the challenges you have had with systems. Time will not allow us to interrogate them, but also because at the beginning we indicated that we had a small challenge with the county executive report, which was not a challenge of your own making. It is our internal problem. We will now need to set up another meeting now to discuss expenditure, because today we have just discussed revenue. And I think it's important. If you are doing revenue of 4.8, almost 5 billion Kenya shillings, it is not time wasted. And I hope we can do the right things to give that assurance to the people of Mombasa. We will be giving detailed recommendations, because I think we have just described the problem without coming up with recommendations. We shall communicate so that when we are coming to discuss the expenditure side, we can also get an update on how far you have gone in the implementation. Now, honorable members.
Before you finish, really, because the receiver of revenue kept on mentioning and pointing fingers on the enforcement. really something has to be done on the enforcement. Go and diagnose what the problem is and work on it, because in future, wouldn't want again this being a reason or a scapegoat to under collection of.
Okay, honourable members, I'd like the governor to make his closing remarks, unless there's any observation. Time will not allow us to go further.
A point of procedure, you didn't rule on the generic answers vis-a-vis whether we need to reinvite governor for specific, so that we can, because the fairness chair, if we take these generic answers, we would not have given justice to the principles of natural justice. So I don't know, maybe you can consider.
We had discussed that at the beginning. On the expenditure side, we have not been able to do anything today, and so we'll have another meeting for the expenditure. But we'll also, in that meeting, we'll also follow up on the issues of revenue that have remained unaddressed, and we hope the governor will also appraise us on the measures that he has taken, be they administrative action, be they policy changes, to ensure that some of the things that are described generically here do not recur in future. Governor, you are closing remarks. Even though, just a second, auditors, is there any challenge you're having with regards to Mombasa? I know you're about to do the, you're about to go in for the 24, 25, 26 audit.
Chair, we don't have much problems. I think the county is cooperating, but we are persuading our governor to honor your summons. Because I think last year there were about 5 or 6 summons which were not honored. And this year I think 2. So we are persuading him to work on that.
Yeah, because when we have that conversation, you know, a lot of things emerge. In fact, if you'd have come before 31st of March, we'll have already done half the work. Or this is when now we seem like we are starting. So on that, the governor has a constitutional obligation to appear before the Senate, and I think he has done the right thing by coming here. It's not something we need to negotiate about. Governor, in closing.
Chair, the issue of appearances of governors is something that we do not want to start afresh again.
Let us just agree on that matter. It is something that at high top leadership level we were able to discuss, and I think we moving forward. It was a collective decision. Moving forward, let us just agree on what needs to be done. But secondly, Chair, which is good, it is the role of the auditor to actually look at revenue streams that were not able to perform.
But then what was not highlighted was revenue streams that actually outperformed, which is natural.
Audit is exception.
Yeah. Which is natural. The direction in which the county government of Mombasa is taking is we have to move away from the traditional ways of doing things. It is not sustainable. And a classic example, you asked about physical planning. Yours truly pushed something from the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary to the the Attorney General, all the way up to Summit, on issues of how do state corporations that they're actually meant to pay, including the people from affordable housing and all. I had a meeting today morning with the CS for Treasury on how we can ensure that state corporations chip in whenever they're doing any developments. All this is an issue of how you're going to increase your own source revenue. We have an agreement right now that got the blessings of PPRA and got the blessings of everyone else, every legal entity, on allowing Kenya Ports Authority to be able to be a collector of revenue on our behalf because of trucks and all, which we have seen an increase in revenue. We are putting in CCTVs, we are digitizing, we have advertised. Currently, as we speak, we are digitizing our own internal digitization system for the health, which is going to be a whole comprehensive, the contracts were just finalized, I think, 2 days ago. So they're starting right now, and they've given me an indication that within 3 months we would have seen some great impact on what needs to be done. And are we wrong to say that we are over-projecting? Because if you look at everything else, the biggest issue that is being raised by the auditor is that the county government of Mombasa has over-projected of where they want to go. It does not mean that we have collected less than what we did last year, year before, and so forth. Again, we are proud that because of coming up with innovative ways on how we can be able to collect revenue, today we are collecting revenue without necessarily having touched our Finance Act. It's just how do we maximize on what needs to be done, bearing in mind that you already have certain systems. What systems can you be able to be able to put into place? So are we going to see an increase? Yes. Will we see a possibility that we are again over projecting? Probably because I'm over ambitious in nature. I'm over ambitious in nature. That is the reason why it was our over projection that made other revenue streams that we had hope on have an increase. If we did not, then even those revenue streams like parking and other revenue streams that are there would not have seen. Today's figures that we will be closing in this financial year for land rates, we will be seeing an increase. We will be seeing an increase in our figures for health as well, and way more. So mine is just to say thank you. I mean, it is always eye-opening to come to the Senate and be shown probably some things that I would not have necessarily seen if it was not for the effort of Senate. So mine is to say thank you, and we look forward to future engagements with yourself. And thank you again for being a protector of devolution.
Thank you. We've got work to do for county governments. We have to go to the chamber to fight for county governments to get 454 billion Kenya shillings.
Thank you.
It's a firm position we are taking, and we believe that counties deserve even much more than that. So irrespective of who the governor is, irrespective of who's in office, this is money that goes to the people of Mombasa and to the rest of the counties. I just want to encourage your team that your ambitions should also match that of your governor. Because if the ambition of the leader is far higher than the team, then you end up with these shortfalls that we are seeing here. But Governor, we wish you well. We want devolution to succeed, and we would love our second city to be a case study on devolution. We would like people to come from Cape Town to figure out how Mombasa did it. We would like people to come from Kampala to figure out how Mombasa sorted out waste management. We would like people to come from Dodoma to figure out how Mombasa sorted out issues of youth unemployment. And we will work with you, hold your hands. Where we can advise, we shall advise. Where we can push for additional funding, we shall do so. And where we have to correct, we shall correct.
Asante sana.
We wish you a safe journey back home, and we shall communicate on our specific recommendations and the date for our next conversation on expenditure. And perhaps it would even be best for us to do it in Mombasa City.
Karibu sana.
Sawa sawa.